The galaxy was not silent, but it always pretended to be. Stars burned, planets rotated, and alien empires whispered across the void. Every race believed they understood the balance of power. Every empire thought they had mapped all dangers. Yet behind the silence of Earth, something was growing. Humanity had vanished from the great stage centuries ago, closing its borders, refusing alliances, ignoring threats. The aliens laughed then. They said Earth was weak, fragile, unprepared. But the truth was different. For generations, Earth had watched in secret. Its people studied dark matter, the invisible fabric that shaped the universe. While alien empires argued over trade routes and weapons, humanity worked in silence. They built ships not from steel but from the shadows between the stars. These ships did not shine, they swallowed light. They did not roar, they whispered through space like ghosts. No alien sensor could track them. No weapon could lock onto them. They were warships hidden inside the very skeleton of the universe. On the edge of the Androvia system, alien fleets gathered. Thousands of ships floated in formation, their engines glowing like embers. The Council had ordered them to watch Earth's sector, to wait for the moment humanity would step forward. Rumors spread through every fleet. Some said Earth had built a weapon that could destroy stars. Others said it was a lie, a trick to keep the galaxy curious. Captains laughed, but their hands never left their consoles. Even the boldest commanders felt unease. And then it happened. The stars dimmed. First it was small, a flicker at the edge of vision. The fleet thought it was a solar flare. Then the shadows grew deeper. Light bent unnaturally, warping space, twisting the stars into strange shapes. Pilots whispered to one another. Their sensors showed nothing. Their screens reported an empty void. But their eyes told a different story. From the darkness, shapes appeared. Vast angular forms slid through the starlight like predators moving through fog. The ships were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Their hulls did not reflect light, they consumed it. Their edges were sharp, cutting across the horizon of space with impossible precision. And when the alien fleet saw them fully, silence fell across every channel. These were not warships built for intimidation. They were built for fear. The lead ship moved slowly, deliberately, as if it wanted the galaxy to see. Its body stretched for kilometers, layered with black armor that pulsed faintly with red light. Beneath its surface, energy flowed like rivers of fire, hidden veins of power. Smaller ships followed in its wake, each one just as silent, each one cloaked in the same darkness. The fleet did not rush to attack. It did not even open its weapons. It simply stood there, watching. The aliens had faced great powers before. They had fought machines, empires, and ancient species. But this was different. This was something beyond their knowledge. Their weapons felt small in comparison. Their numbers felt meaningless. The very air inside their ships grew cold as the shadow fleet drifted closer. Across the galaxy, news spread like fire. Transmission lines carried the image of Earth's warships to every empire, every throne, every council. Leaders sat frozen in their chambers, their voices caught in their throats. They had planned to challenge Earth. They had planned to remind humanity of its weakness. Now they realized they were the ones unprepared. On board the alien flagships, commanders whispered orders. Hold fire. Do not engage. Their crews obeyed, hands trembling above their controls. It was not courage that filled their hearts, it was fear. They feared firing first. They feared what would happen if these ships turned their weapons loose. The dark matter warships did not blink. Their glowing veins pulsed, faint but steady, as though they were alive. The galaxy watched, waiting for a single move, a single word. None came. The silence was more terrifying than war. Aliens who had fought 100 battles felt something they had never felt before. Helplessness. Their technology could not explain what they were seeing. Their tactics could not prepare them for an enemy that bent the laws of physics. Every calculation failed. Every strategy broke. They were standing before something greater than empires, greater than councils. And still, humanity said nothing. In the shadows of those ships, in the depth of their silence, The galaxy saw the truth. Earth had never been weak. It had never been fragile. It had simply been waiting, building, watching, until the moment came to step forward. And now, that moment had arrived. The galaxy froze in fear. Fear does not travel slowly in the galaxy. It spreads faster than light, faster than reason. The moment Earth's dark matter warships appeared, the news crossed every star system. Messages jumped from relay to relay, each one carrying the same haunting words. Humanity has returned. On distant worlds, leaders gathered in their councils. Holograms lit their chambers with the image of black warships sliding across the void. Some rulers clenched their claws, others lowered their heads, and a few whispered prayers to gods long forgotten. No one laughed. No one dismissed the threat. The galaxy had seen great weapons before, but nothing like this. The Council of Suns, the most powerful alliance of alien empires, called an emergency session. Their great chamber was filled with towering forms, scaled bodies, insect wings, and crystalline shapes that shimmered with inner light. They spoke in hundreds of languages, translated into one voice that echoed across the chamber. "What are these ships?" demanded one voice. "They are illusions," said another, though the fear in its tone betrayed the lie. "If they are illusions, why does every fleet report their presence?" answered a third. "Because Earth has uncovered something forbidden." The Council's words grew heavy. No one could explain how a small planet on the edge of the galaxy had created ships that bent the laws of physics. Dark matter was a mystery to every species. Entire civilizations had spent centuries studying it only to fail, and yet humanity had mastered it in silence. In the fleet stationed near Earth, panic spread among the crews. Pilots refused to power down their weapons. Officers sent frantic reports back to their homeworlds. Many ships floated without moving, caught between orders and instinct. They had been told to watch Earth, to prepare for war, but no one had told them how to fight shadows that consumed light. On one alien bridge, a young officer stared at the dark ships with wide eyes. His hands shook as he whispered, "They are not even moving, but it feels like they are watching us." His commander gave no reply. Even the bravest leaders could not hide their fear. The warships did not fire. They did not advance. They only existed. And that existence alone was enough to freeze thousands of fleets. Some empires considered retreat. "Pull our ships back," they urged. "Do not provoke them." Others argued for caution. "Stay still, watch, do not show weakness." A few, blinded by pride, shouted for attack. "Strike now, before they strike us." But their words carried no weight, for none dared to be the first to test humanity's silence. Meanwhile, across the stars, ordinary beings whispered the same question. If Earth can build this, what else are they hiding? Merchants feared to cross human trade routes. Explorers turned their ships away from Earth's borders. Even pirates, who once hunted human colonies without hesitation, now avoided the sector like a cursed place. For the first time, humanity was no longer prey. The silence of the warships was heavier than any weapon. Every empire imagined what they might do if provoked. Could they erase a fleet in a single strike? Could they shatter planets, tear suns apart, bend time itself? No one knew. And the unknown was the most dangerous weapon of all. In the great chamber of the Council of Suns, voices broke into anger. "We cannot allow this. If Earth controls such power, the balance of the galaxy will collapse. And what do you suggest? Attack? Yes. Crush them before they spread further. You first." The room fell silent. No empire volunteered. No ruler wished to carry the blame if Earth's shadows unleashed fire upon them. Fear chained their ambition. Back in the Androvia system, the fleets remained frozen. The alien ships that once glowed with confidence now seemed small, fragile, weak. The dark matter warships loomed among the stars like silent giants, patient and unshakable. Every alien captain understood the truth. If Earth had wanted war, it would already have begun. The only reason they were still alive was because humanity allowed it. And that truth was worse than destruction. It meant humanity was in control. The galaxy had always believed Earth to be a lesser world, a child among empires. Now they saw a predator in plain sight. The dark matter warships were proof that humanity had been silent not out of fear, but out of choice. They had waited. They had prepared. And now they were showing only a glimpse of their strength. As the fleets held their positions, as councils debated and rulers trembled, one message began to echo across every channel, every world, every star system. The galaxy froze in fear, and still the warships waited. The galaxy had frozen, but silence could not last forever. Among the thousands of alien ships in the Androvia system, there were always those who could not accept fear. Pride was stronger than wisdom, and one empire in particular had never known patience. The Dravari, a race of war-born conquerors, could not bear the thought of bowing to shadows. On their flagship, Admiral Koresh sat in a throne of iron and flame. His body was scaled with crimson armor. His voice carried like thunder. He stared at the black shapes of Earth's warships through his vast viewing window. His officers trembled as they waited for his command. "They hide behind fear," Koresh growled. "They think silence is power. We will show them the truth. We will break their illusion." One of his captains dared to speak. "Admiral, the other fleets will not follow. They fear what these ships can do." Koresh slammed his clawed hand on the console, sparks flying. "Let them fear. The Dravari do not freeze. We strike, and the galaxy will remember us as the empire that shattered Earth's deception." Orders flashed across his fleet. Engines roared, weapons charged, and dozens of warships broke formation, surging toward the dark matter fleet. Their cannons glowed with burning plasma, their missiles armed and ready. Across the system, alien fleets watched in dread. Some whispered prayers. Others tightened their defenses, but none dared to move. The Dravari ships closed in, firing a storm of light. Beams of plasma streaked across the void. Missiles left trails of fire. Energy cannons screamed through the silence of space. For a moment, the darkness lit up with fury, and then just as suddenly it vanished. Every weapon disappeared into the black hulls of Earth's warships. Plasma beams bent, swallowed like water into sand. Missiles dissolved into nothingness, their explosions muffled as though erased from existence. Not a single strike landed. The Dravari fleet slowed, confusion spreading across their decks. Captains screamed at their sensors, demanding explanations. But the truth was clear. Their weapons meant nothing. Then the dark matter ships moved. Not quickly, not violently, but with terrifying precision. The lead ship turned its hull, and for the first time it revealed its true power. Red veins of energy lit its surface, glowing brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. A single section of its hull opened, and a ripple of distortion spread through space. The ripple struck the Dravari fleet. In an instant, half their ships vanished. Not destroyed, not broken, simply gone. Their places were filled with silence as if they had never existed. Crews, engines, weapons, erased from the universe without sound. The remaining Dravari ships staggered, their formations broken. Panic spread like fire. On the flagship, Admiral Koresh gripped his throne, his eyes wide. "What have they done? Where are my ships?" His officers gave no answer. There were no wrecks to recover, no signals to trace. His fleet had been swallowed whole. The dark matter ship's hull closed again, its veins dimming to a steady glow. It did not pursue, it did not taunt. It simply drifted back into silence as if nothing had happened. The message was clear. One strike. One ripple. Dozens of ships gone. Across the Androvia system, alien fleets shuddered in terror. Species that had fought endless wars now trembled at the sight of a single human fleet. Commanders who once believed in their weapons lowered their eyes. Even the proudest empires felt the weight of helplessness. The Council of Suns received the report within minutes. When the images of the vanished Dravari fleet reached their chambers, silence fell. For long moments no one spoke. Leaders shifted uneasily in their seats, their minds unable to form words. Finally, one voice broke the silence. They destroyed an entire fleet with a single strike. Not destroyed, another corrected. its crystalline body flickering nervously. Erased. The chamber grew darker as the truth settled. No empire possessed such power. No weapon had ever done this. Humanity had not only built ships beyond imagination, they had rewritten the rules of war. Admiral Koresh's flagship fled, dragging the survivors of his fleet behind him. His pride was shattered, his empire disgraced. No commander dared to follow his example. Across the system, every alien fleet powered down their weapons, retreating into stillness. They would not risk awakening the shadow ships again. Inside one alien vessel, a crew member whispered to his captain, "If they can do this with one strike, why have they not destroyed us all?" The captain stared at the dark ships, their black hulls glowing faintly with crimson veins. "Because they do not need to," he said softly. "Their silence is already victory." The galaxy had expected noise, fire, and war. Instead, humanity had shown restraint more terrifying than destruction. By sparing the fleets, they proved they were in control. Every alien empire now understood the truth. Humanity could end them at any moment, yet chose not to, and that choice carried more weight than any battle. The galaxy froze again, but this time not in disbelief. This time it froze in fear of what might come next. The galaxy had witnessed the impossible. One ripple from a single human ship had erased an entire fleet. No wreckage remained, no signals, no proof of survival. The Dravari, once feared conquerors, now drifted home in silence, their pride broken. Across the stars, the message was clear. Humanity had returned and it was untouchable. But the galaxy still waited for the next step. Would Earth strike again? Would they expand their shadow fleet and crush every empire? Fear alone was heavy, but the silence that followed was heavier still. On the bridge of the lead dark matter warship, a single human stood before a glowing console. His name was Admiral Saren Holt, commander of Earth's hidden armada. His eyes were calm, his face lined with years of waiting. Around him, officers worked in silence, their uniforms dark as the ships they served. For centuries, Earth had hidden itself. It had watched while alien empires rose and fell. It had listened while humanity was called weak, fragile, unworthy of survival. But Holt knew the truth. Earth had never been weak. It had been preparing. At his signal, the warship's comm system activated. Across the Androvia system, across every fleet and across every council chamber, a human voice cut through the silence. "This is Admiral Holt of Earth." The words were calm, steady, and unshaken, yet in every alien ear, they fell like thunder. "For centuries you have spoken of humanity as prey. You believed our silence was weakness. You thought our absence was surrender. But while you waged wars of pride, while you fought over borders and wealth, Earth chose a different path. We studied the shadows of the universe. We learned the language of the dark, and we built ships that no weapon can touch. The images of the dark matter warships filled the skies of alien worlds. Families watched in silence. Soldiers gripped their weapons but did not move. Leaders leaned closer to their glowing consoles. You have seen what we can do with a single strike, Holt continued. We did not erase that fleet out of hunger for war. We did it to show you the truth. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not run. Humanity stands. His voice carried into the grand chamber of the Council of Suns. The rulers of the galaxy sat frozen, their eyes locked on the human figure. Never before had a human spoken with such authority, such power. We do not seek conquest, Holt said, his tone steady. We do not wish to rule the stars. But know this. If you raise your weapons against Earth again, you will not find debris, you will not find survivors, you will not even find memory. You will find nothing. The words echoed and then silence followed. The galaxy listened to the weight of that silence, more chilling than the strike itself. In the chamber, voices began to tremble. He speaks of peace, one ruler whispered. He speaks of power, answered another. He warns us, a third muttered, but he also spares us, and that was the revelation. Humanity could have unleashed destruction. They could have burned fleets and shattered worlds, yet they chose restraint. They showed power but did not abuse it. And in that choice, the galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity was not driven by greed or hunger. It was driven by survival. It had built weapons not to conquer, but to ensure it would never again kneel before another empire. The galaxy understood this truth too late. On distant worlds, alien citizens whispered among themselves. Some felt respect for Earth's words. Others felt only dread. Children looked to the sky and asked their parents if the shadows would one day return. Priests declared humanity had touched the forbidden and bent the will of the universe. Scientists sat in despair, knowing centuries of their work had been outdone in secret by a single planet. Back in the Androvia system, Admiral Holt gave one final message. Remember this moment. Remember what you felt when your weapons failed. Remember what you saw when the shadows came. Earth will not seek war, but we will never fear it again. And should you ever threaten us, know that we will stand in the darkness, and the darkness will stand with us. Then the comm system cut off. The warships did not linger. Their engines pulsed, and one by one the dark matter vessels began to drift away, fading into the void. Their black hulls blended with the stars until they were gone, as though they had never been there. The fleets that remained did not pursue. They did not even move. They sat in silence, watching the last traces of red glow vanish into the endless night. Only when the final ship disappeared did the alien captains breathe again. Across the galaxy, Holt's words echoed, not just in council chambers, but in marketplaces, in temples, and barracks. The legend of humanity's return was born, a story whispered in fear, in awe, in warning. Humanity had spoken at last, and the galaxy was listening. The shadows had vanished, but the galaxy was not free. In the absence of Earth's dark matter warships, a new weight settled across the stars, the weight of silence. No battles followed, no declarations of war, no triumphant songs of victory. Only the memory of what had been seen remained, and that memory was enough to paralyze entire empires. In the Androvia system, alien fleets drifted without purpose. Captains issued orders to return home, but their voices carried no pride. Soldiers left their posts with hollow eyes. Engineers shut down weapons that no longer felt useful. They all knew the truth. Their survival had not been earned, it had been allowed. Humanity had let them live. News spread to every corner of the galaxy. On distant worlds, leaders gathered behind closed doors, whispering like frightened children. What if Earth returns? They asked. What if they decide this time to strike without mercy? None had answers. Their councils broke apart in confusion, their strategies useless before the unseen power of the shadows. Empires that once ruled with iron hands now hesitated before even small decisions. Should they expand their borders? Should they build new fleets? Every choice seemed empty because in the back of their minds one thought always lingered. What if Earth is watching? Among the people of the galaxy, the story grew into legend. Some called the dark matter warships demons forged in the abyss. Others said they were living beings, ships with hearts that beat with fire. Children told each other stories of the day the galaxy froze. Priests declared the shadows a punishment sent by the universe itself. And in every marketplace, in every station, one whisper was constant. Do not provoke Earth. The Council of Suns, once the proud voice of galactic unity, fell into silence. Meetings stretched for hours, but no decisions came. Their rulers avoided eye contact, their speeches drowned in fear. The image of the vanished Dravari fleet haunted them. No one wanted to risk being the next to test the shadows. On Earth, life continued in secrecy. The people did not see themselves as conquerors. They did not celebrate with parades or fireworks. They did not demand tribute from the stars. Instead, they worked quietly just as they always had. In hidden shipyards, engineers walked among their creations. Warships built from darkness itself. Scientists studied deeper mysteries, pushing beyond what even dark matter revealed. Humanity knew the galaxy was watching, but it did not care for glory. It cared only for survival. Admiral Saren Holt stood once more at the viewing deck of his flagship. The stars stretched endlessly before him, peaceful and bright, but he knew peace was an illusion. Fear was the true balance of the galaxy now. He did not smile, he did not speak of victory. Instead, he whispered to himself, "We have shown them enough." For now. In the centuries to come, empires would write stories about that day. Historians would argue whether Earth's warships were real or illusion. Poets would write of the silence that fell across the stars. But those who had been there, those who had seen the black hulls swallow the light, never questioned. They knew the truth. The galaxy was frozen not because Earth had destroyed worlds, but because Earth had chosen not to. That choice haunted them more than any weapon. It meant Earth was patient. It meant Earth was in control. And it meant that when the shadows returned, there would be no warning. Far from the centers of power, a small alien child looked to the night sky and asked her mother, "Will the shadows come here?" The mother held her close, her eyes fixed on the stars. She could not answer. No one could. And so the galaxy lived in waiting. Fleets patrolled their borders, but never with confidence. Leaders gave speeches, but never with certainty. Every empire built weapons, yet each knew they would fail. The shadow of Earth stretched farther than any fleet, farther than any empire. It was not fire that held the galaxy in silence. It was fear, and fear, once born, never leaves. The galaxy had frozen when the dark matter warships appeared, and long after the ships faded back into the night, the galaxy remained frozen still.